One of the questions was being asked about the hijama or doing a blood test. Does that invalidate the salah? There's a different types of hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. There was a one hadith that says that doing hijama is invalidate your fast, but there's another hadith which says it is allowed. So how would you judge that which hadith to follow? But let's understand technically why would the Prophet ﷺ said doing a hijama would invalidate your salah. Now let's technically and logically understand this hadith. For an example, if someone is so skinny, he goes to hijama. Well, what happens in hijama? Basically, they just remove your blood and your blood cycle goes on. For example, if someone who has a very limitation of a blood in his body and he's so skinny, maybe he will give so much blood in a hijama or the blood test that he will feel a weakness in his body. Maybe come to a critical condition that he might go down, and rather the hospital has to give him glucose to keep him alive. So in that case, if somebody has a fear of getting dizzy or getting unconscious or getting a weakness in his body, and he feels like something's going to happen to me and I do not have enough blood, so he's being weighed from doing a hijama and the blood test unless it is required, it is obligated. If it is not done, then he might die. But rather the blood test and the hijama is voluntarily, you can do that, unless the doctor will ask you, you have to take a blood test today or you're going to die, then you can take it, then you are away from the fasting. But if you do the blood test and if you're doing hijama, it does not invalidate the fasting at all. It is same as there's a cut, you got a hit, you're working, your finger got bleeding, your hand got bleeding, your foot got bleeding, so it does not invalidate your fasting. It's the same as you have to give the blood test. The blood basically comes out from your body. It is not like you taking a nutrition injection in you that covers your, fulfills your desires and your requirement of the food, but rather it's just the blood that somebody takes out for their medical reason to send into the laboratory. So doing a hijama and giving a blood test, or how many times it is allowed to do that. But someone has a fear of like he's going to get dizzy, or it has to be obligated and you must take it on that day, it is obligated by the doctor, then that person is waived fasting of that day, and he has to make up that fasting after the Ramadan. And hijama is obviously is just like voluntarily, you can take it after the Ramadan. But if you can take it with the fear that you get conscious, you can get dizzy, then you don't do the hijama. But if you think it is okay, you can take it.